into the land of Dawn. The Midseason Cup 2025 has been an interesting story to tell. EWC continues to provide us with high-quality games here live in Riyadh. Oh, that's first blood!
That's first blood already. Going off, Boxy might be another kill. He gets stunned. He's going to have to go ahead and go back to base. Man, how many times through MSC groups have we had our split screen and then a first blood happens?
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that OP died like that, right? I don't see any battle spells being used. I think maybe Yums actually... No, he didn't. He took his... He took the title strike. Interesting. All right, I think this is why we're going into that tech pause. It doesn't make any sense that OP would die in such a manner. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, very, again, I'll still stick with it if that is the case of what happened, because it looks like...
it looks like Detective is the one who's calling it. Yeah, it should be an audio tech issue.
Yeah.
It looks like it is an audio tech issue more than anything else.
Yeah. I know both sides have been kind of dealing with this, so hopefully we get things settled out here for our players, of course, in this very important match. You want to go ahead and get the best, start to this best of 3 as possible, but the fact that OP went down early on like that is... It's not, I still don't want to say it's too bad. Okay, we're jumping back into the game because I still stick to my stance of even if Farsa goes 0-3, we've seen it before. You can still top the damage meters. You can still be very valuable here. So hopefully they adjust quickly from that, because I do expect SRG.OG now to go ahead and punish with the fact that they've been able to pick up an early kill.
I mean, talking about early punish, right? With that early kill, it's great for Stormy in particular, but Yums is the one who actually finds the first blood. So that's a huge gold injection for Yums, which is, I'm not going to lie, a little sad, but hey, Conceal is still a very powerful tool, and even if you're able to gain gold to speed that up, it's always a plus point for SRG.OG because they want to snowball, right? Every kill within the next 6 minutes of this game is so valuable.
Okay, early action still up here. Boxy's with Wadu, but how many people from SRG.OG are up on top? They gotta watch out. Level 4s aren't completely online yet, but they'll go ahead and make their way to set up for this turtle.
And it doesn't look like they're gonna go for the level 5 rush this time around. In terms of the emblems, I'm seeing a lot of pull yourself togethers from both sides, right? Mainly coming in from CFU.
Ooh, they're going right for OP again, and the Mountain Shocker gonna be used. OP falls, but there's the response as Kai's goes down, and now CFU has control of this turtle. Can they actually secure the objective? We have some rotating up here to join the fight from Innocent. Wadu trying to buy some time, delay it out, and CFU's forced off of the turtle. They bought enough time, though, to go ahead and contest for it. Feathered Airstrike going to be dropped down. They burn out a Flicker, and now still fighting for it. Innocent gets called up back to the gold lane as Kai's makes his way. So CFU, how do they approach the fight? Wadu up front, Boxy not level 4 yet. Cram will keep him at bay, and Detective is just going to patiently wait there, try to go in, but it's already secured. Turtle goes in the hands of SRG.OG.
Yeah, Detective, he's not going to risk it right now because SRG can basically fight forever. Just Cram and Yums alone with the duo of Dairoth on top of this Kalia is making it tough.
Oh, Yums! Yums will be taken out by Zing! And OP! Oh, he's actually going to be able to escape and live. He gets away just with the wings by wings.
No way, that could have been a double kill for sure. SRG really needed it, but this is a saving grace for CFU as they take that lead back. Again, every 50-50, if they trade equally, CFU Gaming is technically on the winning trade.
And I'm so surprised, even after that turtle take, they end up fighting it out in mid, but we're still at this pretty much even space, but Zhang getting a kill is great for him, especially, I don't think he has his Sky Piercer just yet, but maybe he rushes, was it Hunter Strike and then Sky Piercer for most Grangers?
Yep, for most Grangers is Hunter Strike and then into the Sky Piercer. The early damage from the the early damage and most importantly the passive coming in from that Hunter Strike really helps because it's so easy to proc for someone like Granger. With the Rhapsody, you already get like a bunch of shots off. You just need to land a couple of them and maybe even weave in an auto attack, depending on how many skill shots you hit, then you get the immediate movement speed.
How should this lane be anyway for Innocent? Isn't this a really difficult lane to be on a Ruby and going against a Granger who has obviously a range advantage against you?
No, because your sustain is so ridiculous, right? As long as there is a wave, Innocent can basically go from like 50% of his HP back to 100 in a single wave, and that's pretty annoying for Zing, but what is he really going to do about it, right?
Yep. I like this too. You see, with most Kalea games, they're forced to take 3 Purifies for CFU Gaming to deal with those setup potentials from either side, whether that's Yums or Innocent later on even. And down to the traction pull. So for this, the Turtle's going to be up second one of the game. Both teams getting a position for this one.
Hunter Strike already completed for Sakai's. This next Turtle is going to be interesting. Oh,
Wadu, will he survive this? He does have to jump on out. Pops the Concentrate. It's going to be fine. Goes and regens up. Buff's going to be secured there. So CFU, they'll go for this Turtle. It's going to be started up by SRG. They have complete control right now, but Hume's going to be jumping on into Boxy.
Oh!
They want to find Sakai's, and they do. They find the perfect mark, but Cram gets one as well. And Sing firing off of the back. Cram will get the Turtle, and it looks like SRG will win this battle. It's a triple for Cram on the Dairoth.
beautifully played by SRG.OG and also CFU. Boxy, as well as Wadu and Detective, all have the same mindset. We take out Sakai's, there's a good chance we win this fight. Look at this engagement. Great coming from Boxy, locking them all down with Wadu to kind of slow and set this up indirectly, but Innocent makes a play of his own. With the I'm Offended and also the taunt catching 3 players. Oh, well done for both sides.
Hey, you said it earlier, Gideon, you know, the combination with that I'm Offended and then having the Dairoth there lines things up also perfectly just for him to go ahead and pop out this damage. So now that he's got 3-0, look at him. He's just 1v2 and completely fine. Rest of the team's going to now jump on in. There's the Tsunami Slam, setting things up for Cram, but Cram respects that OP is here, and they're forced off, but Zing goes down. It was a 2v1 in the bottom lane.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Even I was falling for the smoke and mirrors. I was like, what the heck is Yumas doing? Why is he trying to go for a Tsunami Slam? He just saw Cram use the Abysm Strike anyways, and then the attack down on bot side. So CFU's attention really pulled to the initial big ult and big resource utilized. So a very nice feint by Yums.
Yeah, great play there. That's going to get them that tier 1 in the bottom. This tier 1 in the mid basically is going to go down as well. It's 1 HP away. So CFU will shift things over to go ahead and grab these buff. We haven't seen Detective be able to do too much just yet. And maybe they're just at a position where it's like, we got to catch up here because, you know, nothing too crazy, but especially in the XP lane, like you said, with this Dairoth pick, having a lead against the Uranus, I think this is just a difficult lane for Wadu to even be in. So once the Uranus is shut down like this, like where do you go from there?
Yeah, well, technically the Uranus isn't shut down. It's just not as fast as Cram, who currently is able to apply a lot of pressure, but he's ultra sustainable, right? When I say ultra sustainable, there just isn't enough burst damage from the side of CFU unless they bring OP into the mix. Without OP, it's tough.
Okay, we'll see. They're going to be forced off. That's going to be 3 for 3 for the Turtles here. So even as tanky as Wadu should be, look at the brunt of the damage he's just forced with. They'll throw a couple ultimates at him, and he has to pop the Consecrate to be okay. So they still hold on, but losing another objective, and all this leading to basically losing more grounds economically to SRG.
Right now, CFU, without all of their item power spikes, taking prolonged fights against SRG is really tough because their base damages are significantly better, right?
Yeah.
Cram in particular is ultra sustainable, especially if he's hitting multiple people with his 3rd hit. Now we look at the items, right? Okay, so they skipped on T2 boots, which is probably why we're seeing Innocent survive so long in lane, on top of the War Axe, on top of the Queen's Wings to make sure that he's really, really sustainable, but it's all about those flickers, right? How many I'm Offended can he actually land? And the longer this game actually drags out, the better it is for CFU Gaming, because then it kind of narrows down the approach of who should we attack, because Cram will start to fall off, and then Skies becomes a bigger priority.
We'll see them trying to hold on to this. Again, they're just going to clear things out, and buying time would be great. Zing does have that Sky Piercer now too. Detective picks up the Brute Force, so he's got the couple items we've talked about a lot about the Lancelots. For now, it just seems like he's going to go ahead and play the macro game, push some of these lanes in, see if he can get some extra damage on these turrets. But ultimately, he also doesn't want to get caught out because he could be in a tough situation against someone like a Dairoth if he has to go against it, or the amount of crowd control can be overlapped on each other to even catch a Lancelot. So he has to go ahead and respect that. You're 30 seconds away from this Lord. We haven't seen them really have a favorable fight for the Turtles, so I don't know, are we thinking CFU Gaming is in a position to actually contest the Lord?
Maybe. I think right now Sing is pretty strong. With that, with the Malefic Roar, he should be able to cut through anybody who has an Antique Cuirass. However, there's not a lot of armor being stacked up from the side of SRG. The only person he can really find value with that Malefic Roar is probably just Cram.
Yeah.
But even then, that's assuming Cram is by himself and he's not in melee range of CFU. I think right now, CFU Gaming need to make sure that both OP and as well as Zing are in favorable spots, because if they die out first and the fight goes longer than like closer to a minute, SRG will eventually overtake them.
Okay, a couple items picked up for them. They're going to be zoned here, though, too. They got to respect this crowd control.
Oh, it got canceled.
Already, yeah, got canceled. There's a Tsunami Slam again. They'll be able to find Boxy. Boxy in trouble. Survives a little bit longer, but the Lord already secured by SRG, and now it's a mega kill for Cram. They're looking for Wadu. The flicker forward. The cleanup from Stormy. Meanwhile, Detective's like, I want my purple buff. After everyone goes down, I don't know if he's going to get a chance to get it as Innocent jumps on in and pulls him in. Innocent's offended.
Oh my goodness, these games are nasty. Even our bystanders here, part of the team, they're all they're surprised. Innocent is like, man, this marksman player, what is up with his flicker? I'm offended. Now, this fight, you can see that Cram immediately is targeting that backline. This is the big problem I have seen from CFU. Yes, you are getting Boxy to engage on these fronts, but you're not taking the neutral objectives anyway. So why don't you just peel? Just keep on peeling.
Yeah.
Keep your two cores who are able to apply a lot of damage against the front line of Selangor Red Giants, because in these prolonged fights, unless Selangor Red Giants are in your face, in melee range, that's how they sustain.
It's going to be, again, they still got the shields, but I think they're forced to fight anyway. Tsunami Slam's going to be able to find it. Wadu, Yumes does go down. They're held off for now. It's a trade, though. The 1-for-1, they'll clear out the Lord. They lost the shield, but CFU Gaming will still stay in it. They find themselves 8,000 gold behind now. Do they have enough to bring it back into this? This is a big deficit. We've seen it before, though. And again, they're going to have to just find themselves a favorable pickoff, maybe fight, but they got a lot of grounds to cover here.
Right now, OP, he's scaling. Once he gets that third item, he's going to be an absolute menace here. It's going to be such a problem. Same goes for Detective when he gets that endless battle, because then his burst is going to be just enough to take on the squishies from the side of SRG.OG Esports. Now, if we take into consideration what happened into that last pickoff, right? We see Yumes, he grabs over Wadu. Wadu ends up dying, but OP is able to get major. Oh, no.
They're going to force it anyway. For the purple buff, does he actually commit to this? He jumps on in. Cram has the immortality. Does the team follow through? No, that's a big shutdown, though. Going in the hands here of Detective.
Big mistake, and now CFU is on the chase.
Oh, Innocent's in trouble, gets caught into the wall. Goes with the I'm affected, though, but has enough regen to stay alive amidst it all. A Tsunami Slam into the turret, and Detective, is he going to burn on down? The Traceless to pick it up. A double for Stormy. And just when you thought CFU could turn things around, SRG says no.
Oh my goodness, really nicely played. Cram, yes, I agree, he made the initial mistake. Detective and Wadu tried their best to try to turn this around, but they forgot Yuum still has his, oh my god!
Oh, they're gonna force it anyway, they want to end the game if they can. Mid-turret gonna be worked on. Oh, beat 1 HP. They got a Canyon Minion, they'll push in this bottom wave. Sing is back up. And SRG looks like they might just go ahead and disengage from this. They got the Lord coming up in 10.
Beautiful stuff coming out from SRG. Now they're setting up for that checkmate angle. They find the retort against CFU Gaming. They're back in this debate, and more importantly, with a 9K lead, it is obvious that Sakai's damage is through the roof, and CFU must take him out first. Cram is manageable now, but they must play with their poke. They need to poke. That's what their whole comp is all about. Yes, you have sustain, but you can only do it if there's a wave in front of you, if you are in melee range. There's a lot of conditions for SRG to check off the checklist to make it happen. But CFU, if they just, tickle their toes a little bit, it will eventually cost a finger for SRG.
Man, still, I think after that last fight in the mid lane, you're almost like hesitant to even go forward and follow Boxy, because it's like, if Innocent's the target, he's just going to heal back up here. And so we see this Conceal going to be used. They go for the target. Wadu in trouble, jumps on in, pops the Consecrate, plays around the Lord. There's the setup, though. Boxy could be in trouble now, too. Detective trying to help, but Stormy already picks up the kill. Defensive flicker. Still going forward. A slam on down on Detective as he falls. Wadu in trouble, but that's going to be game 1 already for SRG.OG Esports.
Really amazing game coming in from SRG's side. Like, they understood their timers. They understood that this game must end on this particular push, because if not, it would have been over for them when they have to deal with the raw poke damage coming in from Farsa's OP from OP's Farsa. Remar, what do you think about the game?
Well, all the conditions we discussed for SRG, they were able to tick it, which is why they eventually ballooned into an 8,000 gold lead. Spell Vamp and burst damage up the Wadu. SRG, that play by Innocent, that was like the heat check. But the heat check was begun at the center of the map, a 34-second first blood by you.
Is that the fastest? Or do we have one faster than that?
I have to double check, because I know it should be somewhere around the 30s for the fastest.
30-something,
That's what I'm thinking as well, but we'll double check with Zipper later on, because again, there's just so many cool things that happen in this game, right? Especially for such a volatile comp. This is very similar to what we saw Homeboys making an attempt to do yesterday, but it comes down to, can you find those first bloods? And I think that with that initial first blood onto OP, things really snowballed out of control, because you can tell that SRG is okay. They are willing to trade 1-for-1 in the earlier stages, because Cram, he's not dying, right? He's actually extending his lead. So guys is like, if I die now, it's no big deal. I'm going to be back on the farming route, and by the time we hit 8 minutes, I will be level 15. There is forward thinking.
Yeah, and the crazy part about the composition of SRG is in this scenario where they were able to tick their early game conditions, it essentially became a 4-carry setup. You have the D-Roth, the Ruby, the YSS, and the Kimmy, that in all possible computations and scenarios, even if you take down 2 main damage dealers on the side of SRG, CFU had 2 more to deal with.
That's why I was saying, even if you follow Boxy into the fight, who's his best target? A lot of times he was catching Innocent, because Innocent knows, like, I can also tank this up, heal myself back up, and be fine. So, you know, really when you break down the draft and everything else, you look at this, like, you see the brilliance to how this comes together.
How disgusting is this? Innocent plays Ruby. He's like the most important playmaker for the side of SRG to like put that seal stamp at the end of saying we're going to win this game. He comes out 3-0-10.
Hey,
he didn't die once.
Lore-wise, man, if you know how to play the Roger, you got to know how to play the Ruby like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lore accurate.
It is. From being the Roger of the tournament last year, now he pops off with a really fantastic Ruby game here, 0 deaths, and he really made the most out of all of the tempo breaking abilities that Ruby has in her kit. But not just that, with the flickers too. No flicker was wasted by Innocent in this game.
No flicker was wasted. The I'm Offendeds were really, really good, and CFU had to adjust much, much earlier into the game. They need to recognize that Opyun as well as Zing are their main win conditions, but I think they've channeled a lot of their resources into Zing, which is not a bad idea, but they need the damage profiling to work out as well. You could tell that Zing was like, okay, I'm doing a decent amount of damage, and then wait a minute, wait, hold on, the anti-heal is not working out, nothing's happening.
Yeah. And speaking of anti-heal, a Sea Halberd pickup by the Ruby on Innocent, yeah, it essentially just became another carry. It's a gold lane carry on this Ruby, going for the War Axe, the Wings, Hunter Strike. No wonder he was able to spell vamp like crazy.
Yeah, Zing, I think that he should have switched out that Malefic gun. It didn't get as much value as he wanted to. He should have gone for the Sea Halberd as his third item, recognizing that the raw sustain from the side of SRG, especially for the early game only, might have given them a chance to try and take a 50-50 trade back. But then we start looking at the other items, right? No anti-heal coming in from Boxy. I think he was really, really greedy with this. More importantly, the Radiant Armor, which I totally understand, right? You're up against that Kimmy, and the same can be said about Wadu. He doesn't even have any of the items to deal with the Kimmy in the first place, which ended up costing him down the road because he kept on getting engaged on.
And then I think it was really late when he did pick up the Dominance Ice, so it's like a lot of times when you think the Uranus should be the one helping be that kind of front line, that stalwart in the front line, he couldn't, because like even when he jumps on in and tries to, you know, be that front, he just keeps getting pulled back, you know, he keeps getting brought back to the fight. So even especially when that Purify was burnt. So it was a really good answer to a lot of what CFU had on their composition, but SRG answered it.
It feels like this is a bit of a learning moment about Uranus now in this current meta, where he shines against lineups that has maybe just 1 or 2 carry options. Yeah. Because he doesn't get bothered that much. He's like, all right, I'll just heal through all this damage eventually. But then when your lineup is already lacking an early game lead, you're already lacking a lot of crowd control, and the other team has multiple carries, Uranus might not be the pick to go for if you see a Isun Shin on the other side, because it's already expected now. YSS almost always will get paired up with Ruby in the gold lane.
Yes, usually though is what we're seeing now as the potential, tournament meta continues to develop. But I've X'd about this. I've tweeted about this.
You've X'd.
I was like, what is
X?
that?
Hey, look, Uranus kind of sucks when you're behind.
Yeah.
Like, there's no scenario where he's actually good unless he's ahead. But I do think that this is quite a technical marvel from the side of SRG, because there's so many problems that need to be answered. As much as you adjust, and you kind of have to give up a large majority of the early game, which CFU refused to do. And you can tell by their item list as well that there are a lot of broken buys in terms of what needs to be achieved. We need anti-heal, but we also need enough to deal with the Kimmy.
I'm also realizing that, the traditional concept of a Kalea's across from us, let's all take multiple Purifies. Then if you have a Ruby in the mix too, it kind of gives you that other option where you don't always have to go and think, all right, I got to burn these Purifies as the Kalea, because now you have even more crowd control. But also I think not just the Uranus, but man, even the Lancelot. Like this game, the Lancelot was actually, and now we saw this yesterday, we also now saw this today, where there's certain compositions, there's certain concepts of strategy here that actually stop this Lancelot, who has been a menace and we talked about should be banned and all this, needs 2 items. But here, Detective couldn't really do anything. I feel like he just had a struggle, and he was forced to just go and farm up, try to push some of the side lanes.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild experience here for Detective, because even though before the gold lead got completely out of hand, you'd see him bring down people maybe like 20% health. But then he's like, all right, guys, I did my job. Wait, you mean they're full health again? You see the D-Roth, the Ruby, and everyone else just spell vamp, raw spell vamp, all the damage the Detective gets to dish out.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the one time where he's like, okay, you can't spell vamp. We've got the items, we can do stuff. And Sakai's just like, what are you talking about? I now have the raw sustain to deal with it. I was down to a quarter of my health. I'm back to 50%. I'm still chunking you for 50% of your HP as well. So that's why Detective didn't really have any targets. I would have imagined that if Innocent was playing the regular marksman, then he has some options in the early game. But because Stormy was able to find first blood onto OP, and again, Sakai's, it's a pretty difficult 1v1 in the early game unless Yishinshin makes a mistake. It's just, hey, pop that ult. What are you going to do about it?
All right, so quick question for the table here. It seems like after everything that we've discussed, game 1, did SRG just straight up outdraft CFU?
Oh, I don't think it's an outdraft. I definitely think it's more of an outplay in the first 6 minutes of the game. From that point onwards, I think that with the items that were coming through, they just needed to defend that Lord one more time. They would have been on even terms.
Yeah, because, Gideon mentioned this when we got a glimpse of the items, and you saw it in the last highlights there, that Sea Halbert was picked up around the 12-minute mark, and that was really all they had to deal with a lot of the sustainability from this lineup. So I think if the priority for items was built different and they were able to drag it out further, then yes, maybe we would have seen a different concept there happen. But yeah, first 6 minutes were devastating for CFU.
Yeah, as we talk about item priorities here as something that CFU could have fixed up, I know that for a lot of us, our true priority in MLBB is skins. And we have another awesome skin line coming up for you. It's Metro Zero. If you are, I'm glad, I will admit, I lied a little bit yesterday about saying, like, I know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of the skin line, but I'm glad that I was validated that it was a cyberpunky theme, sort of like our old Exorcist
you didn't know
skin
that?
line.
Or you did know that it was cyberpunk?
I did not. I just based it off of the key visual, the theme of it. But yeah, you confirmed it with me, right? Like
yes.
It's a whole Exorcist X modern.
Yeah, I want to say what the heroes are, but I don't even know whether we have the green light to like let the audience know, because
that's true.
A couple of my favorite heroes are going to be part of it. I'm really excited for those, but well,
yeah,
just...
I really hope we get another Alucard skin.
Don't you dare! I swear to God, it's another Claude skin.
Okay, let's head into the draft now. CFU still batting out the Moskov. TCSO gets taken out in SRG because they played it really well. It's like, you know what? We're not going to allow CFU, a team like CFU, to run Yisun Shin in the jungle and play double fighters.
Well, I mean, Yisun Shin right now in the patch, I think a lot of teams can definitely agree that he's disgusting, right? He has like a decent early game because of the changes to the Mountain Chakra to give him that turtle bow, which is ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous, the amount of damage he can pump out at level 4 itself. On one target, ideally. Because it's not like he's got strong AoE, but it's a good disruptor.
And not only that, but I just feel like if you get the vision advantage, that's why when we've seen teams like play, for example, the either the YSS or let's say the Selena to an extent, it's like vision really helps you, but also just the layering of crowd control. From the cleanest games we've seen from throughout the tournament so far for MSC, it's teams that have a really good wombo combos, really good layering, and YSS I just feel like fits that role for a multitude of compositions.
Yeah, and I remember seeing this comment from our community before where one of the main differences between us normies in the pro scene is that the pro scene knows every single time what to do with vision. Like they know how to readjust to it, they know what to do with it, and I think, yeah, as you mentioned that nice, so game number one really was just like with SRG having all the vision and CFU having a mid laner who literally is blind in the lower. You know, SRG got the vision lead there.
They definitely
You are not prepared. No, I'm joking. That's a different game. I'm glad both of you are on the desk because you understand.
We get it. We get it. But now that the Boxy gets banned out, as well as the Arlet, we're seeing similar trends, right? Despite being on different sides, the only real difference is the Yishin Shin that gets banned out for the side of SRG. If not, everything else is pretty much exactly the same as game number one in terms of the bans.
Hey, let's see if CFU, I think they have to try to consider taking out a page of SRG's book. They need some multiple carries, and most importantly, moving forward, I would want to see Wadu end up with heroes such as like the Lapu Lapu, heroes with a lot of control, strong, engaged. As fantastic as Uranus is in the meta, I feel like in this specific matchup, we might have to forgo that hero.
Oh, interesting. It looks like CFU do not want to go for the Kalia knowing that the Zushin is open. And now I want to see whether SRG is going to change priority, right? Because again, we've seen a lot of the time that Zushin and as well as Fredrin make fights sticky. It's like trekking through mud in slippers. You're going to lose your footwear at some point of time the longer you fight. And I think that SRG also recognizes this too. If they go for the Kalia, they understand that if we execute, we need to make sure that we've got the right amount of damage. Oh, they go for the Lancelot. They don't have to go for their mid pick just yet.
I guess this is another chance. It's open. Might as well take it, you know, put it in the hands of Skies and let him go ahead and roll with it, because still I think the game plan from SRG specifically, because they have a Kalea, is they're still going to go ahead and complement this. A lot of the teams that have found success with that hero now, after, you know, some of the changes that it went through, is like you need to be able to go ahead and complement it and play into that. So CFU, with that in mind, they have a Jushin. Do they just go the Fredrin here? Like, do they pick this up? Is that, we've seen Fredrins fall behind the Lancelot, so looks like they'll go with an early gold lane pick. They pick up the Harith, and then they go the Phoveus.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
You know, again, with CC out within first rotation bans, there's so many good picks in the EXP that suddenly just pop up, right? And at this point, with the Harith, I think the Harith is kind of interesting, right? Because it's kind of a hit or miss.
Yeah.
You clearly, teams have been playing Harith for like years at a time. Whether you're a legacy player, whether you're a recent player, within the past 2 to 3 years, Harith has just been a dominant force within the metagame. So I'm assuming that he knows the mechanics of it. I'm just curious to see how SRG is going to answer. Wow, they omit taking mid picks, instead guaranteeing Cram a good time.
You could really see where these two teams are at in terms of putting priority in the picks for their EXP laners. Because of the wide pool of Stormy as well, he has a plethora of options to go with. Even if CFU decide to just go ahead and ban out, say, the Kimi and the Farsa, you could still opt to go with Zetian, since you are playing around the Lancelot in the jungle. Usually, we've come to the agreement that if you are a utility jungle, maybe Zetian might be lacking in terms of the early game presence and the damage that you can dish out, so they're done with that problem. So now SRG are looking to cover their bases with taking away strong crowd control from the hands of Boxy.
I think, yeah, getting rid of the crowd control is really important here, mainly because their composition right now lacks a lot of damage. I'm expecting that CFU is going to get rid of Farsa. That's number one. I am curious to see whether this is going to be a Roger game for the side of Innocent. That could be a possibility. Yee, really interesting ban here for the side of CFU. Are they hard reading into this?
I was one of the heroes in my head for SRG would have been Eve. Just because, again, it goes with the sense of, all right, let's go ahead and set things up. This would also complement the Kalea pretty well. And then typically, if you have that Harith across from you and you set things up in that real world manipulation, it makes things a little bit easier to go and I feel like just fight against. But they could be reading into it too much. but this will still force us into a situation where it's like, okay, what is Stormy going to play? But he is one of those players that has a pretty deep hero pool, and that's the advantage for him. So is it worth the ban? Maybe not so much.
Yeah, because there's a chance we might already be seeing a potential last 2 picks Farsa Granger on the side of SRG. With the Eve God, if Farsa doesn't get banned out by CFU, they took out the Hilda. Usually those are some of the telltale signs that you are leaning towards those 2 heroes.
Here's a different angle, right? I think they got rid of the Yve this time around. I mean, Farsa definitely was going to go no matter what. I think we all understood that. But the Yve in particular is a pretty decent matchup in a 1v1 when you're up against the Zushin. Those Void Blasts really start to stack up for you. You don't mind if the wave pushes in. Hey, fun fact, everybody.
Wow.
Ruby Gold Lane currently has a 100% win rate in 3 games at this year's MSC.
Yeah.
Bring it. Lock it into your rank games.
Yeah, more Ruby in the gold, but make sure you pair it up with the juice in.
Please be playing into a 5-stack, so at least you have 4 other people to talk smack about you if you suck.
Yeah, because if you play Ruby in solo queue, it's not going to do well for you.
All right, here we go. We do see the Kimmy get locked in this time round. They're leaving this final pick up for grabs. Oh, dude, are they going to play another fighter? It doesn't make sense if they make it play another fighter at this point.
Yeah.
They need the burst damage, right? But where's it going to come from? They can use Lancelot as the cleaner. Roger has burst, but only when he gets 3 items, so you probably would rather have the Granger at the end of the day.
But what fighters have we seen in the gold lane? It's only been the CC, Ruby.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so still, no. I think they go for the double marksman. I think they are going to lean towards the Granger, or they might even want to consider carry. There's not a lot of things that carry needs to worry about here.
The Lucas is probably, I think this is Lucas jungle, bro.
No, but I mean, he's paired up with the Kalei and the Glue. Plus, you also have the pulse of the Kimmy.
I don't know, something about CFU, and every time I see that Lucas, it's like, it's dangerous. It's real dangerous.
Fair.
It's, as much as we would imagine that Lucas has kind of fallen off the metagame, keep in mind what his role is supposed to be. He just doesn't want to die to the Lancelot. If he gets picked up, he has anti-CC to try and look to counterplay this Kalia. Most importantly, he can almost guarantee a separation of the front to back line, which is something that CFU want.
Yeah, okay. SRG, their last 2 picks were very clear. It could have been Farsa Granger. Farsa was taken away, so they go for the double marksman with Kimmy and the Granger together, while CFU are going all in a very high aggro all dive lineup to see if they can push this into game number 3 against SRG.
I'm so excited to see the little flash step from Detective to unleash that beast this time round. Look, it's CFU on the blue side facing off against SRG, but it is match point. Keep in mind, elimination is on the board. CFU must bring this back to take it to a game number 3 against the defending EWC 24 champs.
So close for SRG right now after maybe not the best group stage performances that we've seen from them. They are 1 win away from getting to the knockouts, and they'll be able to breathe a little bit, I feel like. So this is a crucial game number 2 for them.
It's so important. Now, both of these squads are going to try and outplay each other at the highest level. CFU will be starting Detective on his orange buff. Sakai is going to be on his purple buff. So they're going to be starting on the same side of the map. I'm curious to see that whether or not they're going to end up towards EXP's side, because that's what it always seems to boil down to, right? SRG has prioritized so often playing through their jungle to make sure that Cram is going to have a decent time in the laning phase. Not sure if that's a technical pause, but I'm just going to hope that it is. Oh, no, back into the game.
Okay, I was going to say, it looks like they're still playing. There was almost a first blood, too, down in that XP lane, so nothing to convert there. Yeah, catching up here.
Yeah, it looks like both sides. Wait, was it both sides? I'm not 100% sure. Either way, this is a big win coming in from Cram. He will start to develop a lead against Wadu, ever so slowly, of course, but we want to see how this continues to progress, right? As you can see, ever so slightly, just missing, Wadu just literally missed 1 minion, and that's it.
Yeah, okay. Catching up there, too. I guess Boxy burned the flicker down there. So they were going for that quick kind of play, quick advantage if they could. CFU didn't find it, but now they might look here in the mid lane. Stormy, he's going to be fine. Has Yumes with him. So, yeah, I think just because that didn't happen in the early game, you're going to go ahead and just see them wait for that first objective to come up. Unless they decide to actually commit to this. Box going to be the focus. Cram roamed up the first blood for Stormy. Now Opie going to be in trouble. 4 members of SRG all here for the fight. and Detective will buy enough time. This turtle's up here, and SRG has control for now.
I don't get it. Why did Boxy walk up so far? You look at the minimap, you can see that Wadu doesn't have priority over that lane. You see 3 members, and the first thing in your mind is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just like try and poke him out. No, you back off. You don't have your flicker.
Yeah, and right now they want to go ahead and start up this turtle here. They're gonna fight for it. Cramp. Also on this other side, Detective forced off, but he can't escape this one. Gonna go in. Sakai's actually in trouble, quite low. Goes in. Sakai's falls, and Wadu will go in, but Stormy secures the turtle. Meanwhile, the fight's still gonna be breaking out, and it's Boxy that goes down. But CFU is winning this fight after the objective, and Cram, 1 hit away, will be able to escape under the turret. But Stormy will get some extra gold off of that as well. The turtle did go to SRG.
Oh, Innocent, where are you shooting? Okay, all right, he recovered. Good recovery, good recovery. No, nobody's sweating here. Nobody's sweating here. Because again, SRG technically in that turtle fight made a pretty big mistake. Wait, hold on. No, Oppie shouldn't die here, right?
Yeah, he should be fine. He should be.
I think, but I don't know about Skies on the other end, because Sakai's, unfortunately, I don't know why he decided, you know what? I'm a Phantom Execution back into that fight. And Wadu's standing there like, okay.
With 1 HP, but
donk. I don't get it. I don't get it.
The arms of Wadu, man.
The arms of Wadu.
Come on in, you know, and but still, good thing Stormy was able to go ahead and secure that for a second there. Thinking CFU could actually turn it around, but they do get a couple kills, goes in the hands of Wadu and Opie. And so I feel like now Zing is going to be, he's going to need some help from the team here to go ahead and help him, because it just seems like Innocent is kind of in that situation where he wants to go ahead and 1v1. We've seen that matchup so much with the Granger and the Harith, and now that the level 4s are in consideration here on both sides, I still think SRG has the better option to go for these pickoffs, especially because they have this Kalea. The flicker is going to be up in about 10 seconds. Cram will be the focus. But still, Detective forced off even with the Beast form. Not sure if they do anything off of that.
No. Getting rid of the Beast form is actually really, really good, because Detective right now can't get any energy just yet. He has to wait for the form to completely run out, because if he dies early, then whatever the bar was maintains. And this allows SRG to walk into enemy territory knowing that that ult is down, and it won't be up anytime soon unless they get into a fight here.
They might. Boxy jumping in with Wadu. They're going to be focusing Cram. Detective, though, is going to find Opie. Goes in with the Thorn Rose. Will pick it up. They're going to be trading right now. Turtle for the taking. Cram is still alive. He's been this way this whole time. The team comes in, but Boxy will go ahead and stop them in with a fist crack, fist break. And now still jumping in. Wadu, tanky as hell, will force them off, so no one committing to the turtle. Does SRG go back to it? Sakai's fully healthy here. We have Detective grabbing the buff. They should be able to go ahead and secure the second turtle of the game here. Boxy doing his best alongside Wadu, trying to delay it, but it's going to be secured by Sakai's, the flicker from Wadu. Innocent now rotating all the way down. Opie takes the brunt of the damage, and they jump on in. Yumes takes the face of it all, but he goes down now too as Detective joined the fight. A shockwave blast won't land, but they trade out bodies here.
Worth it. Very worth it for SRG. Wait. Technically, Cram should still have his ult available. Yeah, he got the reset. He's pulling them back.
It's going to pull him back. Wadu, he's tanky, but not tanky enough. A shot from Innocent will clean it on up. And now Box going to be the next one. Flickers on out. Does Innocent have one more? Goes in, gets punched on back, but will get a double. Another big pickup for SRG.
I was wondering why Stormy, despite being decently low, why he wanted to hover around. And then I realized, Cram, he already got the reset off of his ultimate. He just needed to wait a little bit of time. Good thing that we have the... Oh my God.
They went also on that. I think they Tsunami Slam too, so Zing in trouble, still in the mid lane. Opie trying to get away, but it's 2 bodies too much as Cram will pick up. There's fights everywhere happening on the map.
There's fights literally everywhere. SRG is keeping it scrappy, and now they're calling they can dive him. They know they can dive him. Look at the top side. Detective's in trouble.
Everywhere. There's a fight literally everywhere, and now Detective in trouble. He's going to get forced off the turret, and also Innocent gets a 1v1.
Good game IQ coming in from Detective's side. He immediately focused. Oh, wait, hold on. We saw everything that happened on the map. There's a good chance that they're trying to go for the top side and dive me. I got to clear up this wave to make sure that I can sustain and then get the hell out of there.
Oh, man, this is a lot of ground to cover now for CFU Gaming. Every single fight they've been in, it looks like, you know, there's a couple of moments where it's like, all right, they've got this, and then SRG responds to it with everything they're throwing at him. It's really hard for CFU to find that window like this. Even this tanky as he is, he's going to deal with so much damage as Wadu falls. And now they're going to go ahead and go forward, disengage here. Third turtle, the game is up, but they have the numbers advantage for SRG.
Yeah, they for some reason really badly want this top tier 1. They've been here for so long trying to crack open this this turret and get the structure. This entire time you see that the guy is actually farming on the opposite end of the map, right? Clearing his jungle path, making sure that right now this 4 from SRG is too strong.
Cram again, he's right on Detective. Detective as a beast, he's trying to get away. They flicker forward. Boxy's gone as Innocent picks up another, and he'll get a double. Looking for more, but Yumes to fall. Zing forced out. Wadu joining the fight now. Is this really the fight he wants? He's going for Stormy. Stormy gets the space as Innocent picks up another kill. Now Opie in trouble. Innocent locked and loaded, shoots off one shot, gets a double again. Looking for the cleanup. Zing jumps under the turret, and Cram wants to zone him out. And it's only Zing left after that. SRG is locked in.
They are locked in, and they said, Turtle, it's chill. We don't care. We don't care about this last turtle. We care about the fight. We care about the structures that we can get off of this. And they will continue to progress. Let's look at this fight one more time, right? Because Cram is doing so goddamn much. It's ridiculous, right? How is he getting away with this? So I'm not gonna lie. Boxy was doing the right thing, holding all 4 members of SRG back. But I think that CFU just had to give it up. They keep forcing the scenario, especially when they don't have anything involved.
Oh, they're gonna fight for this one too! Innocent grabs Wadu, looks for another, gets the double. Opie falls, Innocent gets the triple, going for the Maniac. He has to get space, he gets that, he gets the Savage! Innocent is not innocent no more! Picks up a Savage! This point in the game, a huge swing for Selangor Red Giants, OG Esports, and they'll get a tier 2 in the mid.
That's disgusting. Right now, SRG.OG are playing hot and Innocent. 14-0-1. What a KDA as they're looking to try and close out this game as soon as possible. This is some nasty stuff. I don't know. Maybe SRG figured out eat rice and some good stuff, and you're playing on a different level.
They got that from the interview, and right now, so far ahead. 14-0-1 on this Granger. Innocent has had all the space in the world, and he has a flicker. He's had a couple moments, close moments, where he's been very low health, but still, again, you got to give it up to the Beast here. His positioning, his micro is always so good, and it's really covered from the rest of the team.
Yeah, unfortunately for CFU, they just keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. I get why they have to fight for the Lord specifically, but other than that, the previous objectives, it was not necessary, especially on third turtle or even second turtle. Second turtle technically could have been outplayed from the side of Wadu, but again, very slim margins.
Okay. Even with this lead, they're still going to go ahead, get to the base.
No way.
Sakai's going to jump in. Oh, Detective goes with a blast, but doesn't have enough damage. Oh, Sing. Not close enough to catch Sakai's.
Yeah, if only Sing had Flicker. If only he had Flicker. I think that's the biggest problem that we're seeing, right? Because of the Kalia just taking that Purify, you're just so worried, but you get caught out in these positions where you can't force plays upon your opponents. Now, in this fight alone, we see the exact same problem, right? The lead, the goal lead, especially on the carries, are basically untouched. Stormy and as well as Innocent are having the time of their lives. And Sakai's, so far, he's not making too many mistakes, but Boxy has to worry about too many things at once. And you can see Innocent, he's having the time of his life.
Well, right now, the time of their life is in this base turret if they can get it, but the waves are cleared out so quickly from this lineup from CFU Gaming. Look at the difference here. Look at the gaps, especially in that gold lane.
This is too much. It is too much to handle. OP, he's playing hyper aggressively, especially when the resources are down. This is what I was talking about, the overheats coming in from CFU. They want to win so bad, but they keep compromising their early game when honestly, they just needed to take a breath, wait for that first item to come through, and then look for these fights, because these chain fights have netted SRG such a whopping lead on the perfect time. That's why SRG didn't even bother taking the third turtle. It's all about those fights.
Yeah, let's prove that point too. They're going to find the Lord up here in a couple seconds. And so with this, I think CFU, I don't know, man. I think it's better that they stay in their base.
Oh my God, Innocent is already at full build.
Yeah, full build. Hey, 11 and a half minutes in, full build. That's what happens when you're 14-0-1.
Jeez, this is not a fun time for CFU. And the worst part is now they decide we can't even walk up. This is a 10K gold lead. This is the checkmate angle of a lifetime. And right now, they're unfortunately, the reason why they fought for the very first Lord in the first place was because their wave clear isn't exactly good.
So as they get the Lord, going to get ready to go ahead and march in the base here. They've already worked on the shields, this half health on that mid turret, and they can force a fight. With this kind of lineup, CFU really just kind of has to buckle in and wait for that initiation, and maybe Boxy will be able to disrupt that when it does happen, but unless they decide to go on the front foot, I don't know if they're in fighting form to be able to turn things around even as this approaches the base here.
No, this is the worst part. Just watching that Lord, you cannot walk out of your base. It feels like impending doom. CFU are praying on a miracle here. They're praying that SRG.OG overextends and makes the first mistake. Right now, Singh, I don't even think he's strong enough just yet to deal with the major tanks on the side of SRG.
Base turret going to be worked on. Lord will push on in. Managing the top and bottom wave. Sakai's going to jump in. OP has trouble already. He's gone. That's one down. A Tsunami Slam up top. Innocent will go off with the shots. Wadu won't survive that. And SRG already on the work. Detective jumping on in, but it's already a double. And the last ditch efforts of CFU as SRG will tell them it wasn't luck at all as they sweep the series.
SRG.OG